The Ottawa Senators are making a massive push for the playoffs, while the Leafs and Lightning are having some tough times in Toronto and Tampa Bay, respectively. Hey everyone, welcome into another SUN Sports Roundtable. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Sports columnist Steve Simmons and Postmedia hockey columnist Bruce Garrioch, based out of Ottawa. And guys, we will get to the surging Senators in a moment, but we have to start with these situations in Toronto and Tampa Bay. The Leafs had a tough time in their recent West Coast road trip, while the Lightning have dropped 5 in a row, including a 6-0 defeat to Carolina. Steve, what is going on with these two teams that are on a collision course for another first-round meeting?
I think it's completely opposite on different kind of circumstances. I really believe Tampa's played too much hockey. They won the Cup 2 in a row. They got to the finals the third time. They've just played too much meaningful hockey. It's hard to be great year after year after year, and I really think they've run into that. It's too much. It's like running into a wall. After a while, the winning teams don't win every single year. And I think they've hit that point where it's just difficult. I think it's different completely with the Leafs. I think the Leafs are a jigsaw puzzle right now, and I've written about that. They're not a team. They're a collection of players that they threw together all at once, and they said, okay, try and win with this group. Well, they've changed a third of the dressing room. And Bruce, you know better than I even. Dressing rooms are so important in hockey. You can't just change everything and expect you to be right on the same page every moment after that.
Well, and I completely agree with you, Steve. I think the Leafs have just made too many changes. You know, I saw that Nick Kypreos was saying the other day that he believes that this is Kyle Dubas's attempt to save his job. Well, I think that you can make changes, but I don't think you can make the number of changes that they made. And quite frankly, they haven't addressed their biggest issue, and their biggest issue is goaltending. And I wouldn't want to have to rely on Matt Murray to save my job, but if Kyle Dubas wants to do that, more power to him. But I really think that the changes they made, hopefully they can build up some chemistry here in the last 18 or 19 games, but they have made so many changes. It's surprising. As for the Lightning, I think the issue is that they're going through a funk right now, and I think the one thing I believe about them is they've been here before. They can get it turned around. You don't want to go into the playoffs playing the way they're playing, but they've still got a lot of hockey left, and as Steve said, they've played a lot of hockey, but they've still got a lot of hockey left here to play to get their game together.
I always look at playoff teams. Who's in goal? Who's coaching? Who are the best players? Vasilevsky's still in goal in Tampa. John Cooper is still coaching. And Kucherov is still the best player. That's a nice way to look from the top on down.
Meanwhile, it's a lot more optimism in Ottawa right now, with the Senators having won 5 in a row and sitting just 3 points out of a wild card spot. Bruce, what has been the difference for the Sens over the last month, and will they make the playoffs for the first time in 6 years?
Well, it certainly feels like they've got something special going here. You know, Pierre Dorion didn't make many changes at the deadline, but he made the most significant change by bringing in Jacob Chychrun from the Arizona Coyotes. And the biggest thing there, guys, was he did not give up A, anybody off his roster, or B, any of his prospects. You know, the Coyotes have various times asked for Ridley Gregg, Tyler Clevin, and Mads Søgaard. And Søgaard has been solid since he's been brought up. Will they make the playoffs? They've still got a very tough schedule ahead of them. They've got 15 games in March. They faced the Chicago Blackhawks on Monday night, so you know that should be 2 points in their bank. But they've got a difficult 5-game road trip. They're certainly closing the gap. They're certainly making it interesting. And for the first time in 6 years, it feels like they have a team that's going to contend. You know, patience has been a virtue here, Steve. And I think they've done a very good job of putting the prospects in place. And what we're seeing now is guys like Stützle, Tkachuk, and Batherson grow.
I wish I could tell you I believe the Senators are going to the playoffs. I really think it would be great for hockey in Canada and great for hockey in Ottawa. But do the math. There's 6 teams within 4 points of each other, 5 points of each other. 2 are getting in. So right away, you've got a 33% chance of getting in. Now look at the Senators' schedule, more road games than home games. That's a problem. Now look at Pittsburgh's schedule, for example. They end the season playing Detroit, Chicago, and Columbus. If that's close at the end, they're going to be in the playoffs. So you start breaking it all down. Yeah, you'd love it to happen. But boy, the problem when you don't have enough head-to-head games, and Ottawa doesn't have very many of them, the problem is every night you win, somebody else is probably winning or getting points of some kind. And this is the problem with the three-point games. It's really hard to make up ground on other teams when everybody is playing on the same night. And I think that's the biggest problem the Senators will have, as well as they are playing right now.
You know, Rob, it's been interesting here in Ottawa, though, because one thing the Senators have done is they've done a very good job of how do I put this, kind of controlling the expectations. We're calling this meaningful March around here because in September, when I asked Pierre Dorion what the expectations for this team were, he said to play meaningful games in March. Well, you know what? They're playing meaningful games in March. And I think, you know, the fans chanting here the other night that we want playoffs, that's a good sign for the organization. It's a sign that the organization has made a good step. And, you know, there's a lot of excitement here as we speak today. I've just posted a story that the first round of bids for the Senators are due on Monday, March 6th. And, you know, we know that Ryan Reynolds has joined the Remington Group based out of Markham. We expect that Mike Landlauer and Toronto billionaires Jeffrey and Michael Kimmel will make a bid on this team. So it's exciting times here in Ottawa. A trip to the NHL's dance would be a bonus, but playing meaningful games in March, that's a good step for them.
Reminds me of the Blue Jays when they always say, Blue Jay fans want meaningful baseball in September.
Well, exactly.
October, however, but meaningful in September is pretty good.
Yep, should be a fun ride the rest of the season for the Sens. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. For Steve Simmons and Bruce Garrioch, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week on another SUN Sports Roundtable.